Indonesia's prison system is in the grip of an AIDS epidemic. More than 70% of inmate deaths are being blamed on AIDS-related illnesses.
The disease is mainly spread through intravenous drug users sharing dirty needles. As Step Vassen reports, reformers now want drug addicts sent to rehabilitation centres instead of to prison.
Locked up for using drugs. 1/3 of all Indonesian prisoners are drug addicts. Inside prison, drugs are still freely available, but needles are a rare commodity. The result of sharing dirty needles has been an explosion in HIV/AIDS cases. 25-year-old Jailani has AIDS. His condition has worsened since he fell ill with tuberculosis, but he doesn't receive any AIDS medication in the prison clinic.
I didn't know when I was injecting drugs and sharing needles that I could get this disease. When I found out, it was too late to stop.
This prison in West Java houses 2,100 inmates, but was built to hold just 600. Addicts are locked up together with dealers, creating a marketplace for drugs. Hussein is a former inmate infected with HIV. He used to inject drugs in this prison. Now he works as a counselor, warning others of the dangers.
It's hard to find needles here in prison, so we used whatever we could find. Sometimes we used the same needle for 3 months until it got blunt. Often we tried to make it smooth with butter or oil.
Many prisoners here run a very high risk of being infected with HIV/AIDS. Even patients with AIDS die here in prison because when they are getting sick, they will still be locked up, and the treatment is far from sufficient. Health workers insist that Indonesia should treat prisoners with AIDS at professional clinics and stop locking up drug addicts.
But I think it's fair, if they've never been to treatment programs before, they have to be treated for their addiction. And if they're injecting, then we also have to think about methadone programs, substitution programs, because that prevents the injecting drug use. So there are other ways that we can do that's legal that also helps with the addicts, rather than have them end up in prison.
But the man in charge of Indonesia's 127,000 prisons says stopping drug use in his jails is an impossible task.
It is not that simple. Although we try very hard to stop drug dealing inside prison, they always find a way of smuggling them inside. They are very creative, and the guards often don't know what to do.
He also admits that in some cases prison guards themselves are involved in the trade. Indonesia has recently introduced rehabilitation programs for drug addicts in prison. But with half of all injecting drug users infected with HIV/AIDS, a lot more needs to be done.